Hi everyone, I'm back doing another meal prep today. So come along with me and make another couple of meals to get us through the week. I've got laid out here all the things I want to be using up from the fridge. So I've got some bacon that I might just put in the oven, just an easy thing to have. I'm going to make some little burger patties with this pork mince and add some veggies in there. I'm going to make some chicken pasta with some veggies, so put some of that in there, and also use some mushrooms to make a chicken pie. Some vegetables I've already chopped up a couple of days ago for that chicken pie, so there's just some celery from the garden and some broccoli stalk. Here I've got some onions I'm going to chop up. This is for a topping for a stuffed kumara meal. So some of this will go into the chicken pasta with vegetables, and then some of this will go into, I'll just chop up ready to make some sushi this week. So some cucumber, some carrots, some capsicum, and I'll add some avocado, smoked salmon, and some egg into some of them. And then the rest of the carrots I'm going to roast in the oven along with these parsnips. So I've already washed and peeled them. And some potatoes I'll roast as well. Put the peels and the tops of the carrots and the parsnips into my slow cooker, because I'm roasting 2 chickens in the oven at the moment, and so once I get all the meat off them, I'm going to put the bones in here, any scraps or anything like that, like the skin or any fat from it, and then I'm going to fill this with water and make this into chicken stock. So yeah, I basically really like to use as much as I can of everything, and so if I can make free chicken stock that's really good for you from 2 roast chickens that I'm going to make the bulk of my meals this week, then I think that's a really good thing to do. And so that'll mean I might have some chicken stock in the fridge that I might on Sunday maybe I'll make some kind of soup with, and then I'll freeze the rest so that it's just an easy thing to have in the freezer just to make meals with. So that's my plan. So I forgot to mention, if you see in the background, this kind of sheet situation. So my daughter has made a fort and is very proud of it. As you can see, she's got a little bed in there and some toys, and so I'm not allowed to take this down. So that will be in the background of the video today, if you're wondering what that is. So let's get started chopping some veggies and getting them in the oven to roast, and then we'll make up the other meals. So I've just taken out the chicken It's been in the oven for about an hour and 10 minutes. It's got nice and crispy, and the onions have got pretty nice. The garlic has been in there, and then I've got all the pumpkin and kumara. So just check that the knife goes through easily, which it does. So I'll let those cool down, and then I will make those kumara into, cut them in half with the stuffed kumara meal, and then I'll make the topping for the chicken pie. So I'll make some mashed kumara, and then the pumpkin, I'll mash that as well for the pumpkin pancakes, and if there's any left over, I'll add that to the roast chicken meal. So I'll let this all cool down now, and then get some other things in the oven. So I just have some butter melting in a frying pan, and I'm just going to cook all my mushrooms together, and then I'll use them in different dishes. Some salt, that will help draw out the water from the mushrooms, and then they get nice and flavourful. Some pepper, about a teaspoon of garlic powder, some thyme. I think thyme goes really well with mushrooms. So probably a teaspoon of thyme, just use up what's left. That little mix, and I'll just let that cook. At the moment it's on high, just to get the pan nice and hot, and then I'll turn it down to medium high and let that just cook nicely while I'm doing other things. Just frying up the capsicum, some garlic and onion now. This is for my chicken pasta. And I'm just going to add some spinach. So now I'm just going to make the pork little burgers. So I've got half a kg of pork, I've got some onion in there, about a tablespoon of soy sauce, that'll be the salty element. I'll add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, a tablespoon of sweet chili sauce, a teaspoon of garlic powder, black pepper, teaspoon of onion powder, and a teaspoon of parsley flakes. And just crack an egg to combine it. Mix the egg around. So I'm just going to add some almond flour, maybe 2 tablespoons. And then I'll mix it all with my hands. So once I've combined it all thoroughly, I'll make it into little patties. And then I'm going to bake it in the oven. So you could, cook these on the stove. Just make them this size. You could bake them in the oven. You could put them on the barbecue. You could put them in the air fryer. Just because my oven's already on, because I'm roasting vegetables at the moment, I'm going to bake them in the oven, and then that's quite an easy way to not need to babysit them and worry about them. So I'd say they might take about 15 minutes to bake. So I'm just getting my roasted veggies out. So halfway through I transferred the bacon onto the carrots and parsnips so that they get some of that yummy flavour. And here's the potatoes that are really nice and crispy, and they have all that bacon flavour as well. Keep them moist, so I'll let those cool. And then I just have some onions cooking for the chicken pie, some pasta boiling for that pasta meal, and here's the vegetables for that pasta meal. And I'm about to add in these vegetables, so some garlic, the broccoli stalk and some celery into here for the pie, and then I'll add in some frozen vegetables as well. Let that cook away slowly. So I'll just put the pork burgers that I just made into the oven tray that's just come out with the roast vegetables in it. So I've just transferred these carrots and parsnips into this one. That means that I have the nice flavour from those roast vegetables, and I don't need to add any extra oil or wash another pan, and they fit perfectly. So I'm going to put those in the oven, 190 degrees fan bake for about 15 minutes, and then we'll see how they've gone. So I'm just making my chicken pie now. So I've just added 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of thyme, and 1 teaspoon of sage. And I'm just going to add in some frozen veggies. So I'm just going to use up this whole bag. Use it up. So it's probably about half of a bag of this mixed veggies, which is 1 kg, so maybe a bit less than half a bag. Give that a stir. I've also added in a chicken stock cube, so I'll just add about a cup of water with that and let that bubble away. To make the pasta meal low carb for me, I'm using these cognac noodles, which is a type of vegetable, and it has 2 servings in each packet. And it only has 11 calories. You just take them out of the packet, rinse them quite well, and then this is what they look like. These are the thick noodles, but you can get kind of spaghetti style as well. And I'm just going to boil them for like 1 minute, 1 to 2 minutes. Take them out, and then yeah, they're ready to use, just like pasta. And they do taste really nice, just like pasta. Just have all my pasta vegetables in a pot. I'm just going to add this big jar of pistachio with Italian herbs, and this will be my pasta sauce. I'll let that just simmer away for a little bit, and just to make the sauce a little bit more, I'm going to add a can of chopped tomatoes as well. So I'm just going to shred up all this chicken now. I've got my 2 chickens here that are nice and cooked. Before I do that, I'm just going to collect whatever juices were made from the chickens, and I'm going to add those juices into my chicken pie mixture, and that will make a really yummy sauce. So sometimes I might use these juices to make gravy for like a roast, and I did think about doing that, but because we're going to have the roast another day, the gravy might get a little bit yucky, and so I thought a better use for these juices would be the chicken pie. So I'll just add that to the chicken pie now while it's simmering. So I'm just going to shred up the chicken now. Now that it's nice and cooled down, it will make it a lot easier. And then I've got these onions. I'll take the skins off them. And I've got some kumara as well that I need to do something with. So we'll just start by shredding the chicken into little pieces. And this is definitely a way that I find saves a lot of money, and it just makes things easy when you're prepping. So at Countdown, the supermarket that I shop mostly at, they have a deal on meat, certain types of meat, where you can get 3 packages of meat for $20. And so these roast chickens were one of those options. So I got 2 roast chickens. So instead of being $9 each, they became $6 each, which is pretty cheap for the fact that I'm going to use all this chicken meat for basically most of my meals this week. And then with the other, because you need to choose 3, I got some bacon, so I've cooked that up as well so that I can use that throughout the week, and I might use that for breakfast. I've also got some smoked salmon from that deal, and so that's going to go in my sushi. And you can also get just beef mince, diced chicken, sausages, lots of different things. So unless there's really good deals on kind of individual meat, or I'm wanting something in particular, I do try to use the 3 for $20. It just means that you're saving money when you're going to buy that type of meat anyway. And so now I can shred up all this chicken, use it in multiple meals, and then I can use all of the bones, all of the skin, any of the kind of bits of chicken that you don't really want to eat, they're not the nicest bits. I can use that in the chicken stock that I've also used my scraps of vegetables. I'll put that in the slow cooker for at least 16 hours, so I'll put that on today, and then tomorrow maybe at the same time, maybe I'll leave it for 24 hours. It'll be ready to strain, and then let it cool down. I'll save some for later this week to make a soup. Maybe I'll make like a lentil vegetable soup, and then I'll freeze the rest ready for other meals. It's just really great to pop a little bit of chicken stock that you've made homemade into different meals. So, you know, I could have used some in the pasta sauce, I could have used some in that chicken pie today, and so I'll freeze it into kind of bigger containers that would be maybe for a soup or a main meal, and then I'll also freeze it into little individual portions, kind of like ice cube trays but a little bit bigger. And then I can take those out and put them in a Ziploc bag in the freezer, and then I can just take one out, or however many out I need for each meal as I need it. It's just giving you a lot of health benefits, getting all the goodness from the bones, and it's like basically a free way to use up scraps of vegetables and the bones of chickens after you've roasted them. And of course you can do that with other types of bones as well, like beef bones, but I generally just make chicken stock just because I like to make meals like this where I roast multiple chickens. So almost finished shredding this chicken, and then I'll move on to mash up the pumpkin and the kumara and set up those stuffed kumara meals. I have my 2 shredded chickens here, and I'm just going to divvy out the chicken into the different meals, just to make sure I have enough for each meal, and if I don't, I'll come up with a different decision. So now that I've divvied out the chicken into the roast meal, the chicken pie, and I've left some over here, this is my ingredients for my stuffed kumara. I don't think I have enough for the pasta, so I did cook up that extra bacon. So instead I'm going to add the extra bacon into the pasta sauce, and that'll mean that this meal will just be bacon, vegetables and pasta. So it might actually be nice to not have another chicken meal. Anyway, here is me making individual containers full of the stuffed kumara. And this is actually a meal that I came up with myself, just out of leftovers one day. So in the containers already I have half a kumara that I've mashed in a little bit. I've got the roasted onions that I did in the oven with the chicken, and I've just put a little bit of roasted garlic from that oven roasting as well. And then I've got about a heaped teaspoon of basil pesto on top. So this is a paleo meal. And yeah, just really yummy, but really easy. So now I'll put about a handful of the shredded chicken on top of each one. So we'll have this for dinner, and then we'll have it for a lunch as well this week. This cheese was pre-shredded from another day that I've done some meal prep and shredded up a lot of cheese in the blender. So just for times like this, it makes it quite easy and simple to just do my meals because it's already done up for me. So I've just got about a handful of cheese on each of them. And then I have some fresh tomatoes. So this just makes it really yummy and fresh. It's probably nicer if you top the fresh tomatoes once it's all warmed up and you put those fresh on top. But just for ease and simplicity, I'm just going to add it all now. And so they will get a bit warmer in the microwave, but it'll still taste really nice and fresh. And then I've got some green onion here, so I'll top each one with a little bit of green onion. And then I'll just go in and add a little bit of extra basil pesto on top, and then that's that meal done. So I'm all done. I'm tired, but I know it will all be worth it this week when I don't really need to cook. So I put those mashed kumara on top of the chicken pie, and I've got it in an oven dish, so I'll just put that in the oven one night this week. I've got the pumpkin that I roasted in the oven. I was going to make pumpkin pancakes, but I am really tired now after doing all this cooking, so I might just leave that in the fridge, and then another day I'll make that up. I've got 3 containers full of the roast vegetable meal. So it's got the potatoes, chicken, broccoli, pumpkin, and the carrots and parsnip. I've got 4 containers of the stuffed kumara. I've got the pork little burgers. We'll have that with rice and salad. And then I've got, this is the pasta meal. So these ones are mine with those kelp noodles at the bottom. And then these ones are for my husband with the pasta. And then I've just topped those all with cheese. So yeah, I've done a lot of cooking today. Tired, have a massive mess I need to clean up. And this is all of the compost that I accumulated cooking that I'll put in the compost. And then what I'll do with the chicken stock, I've added some more scraps of vegetables and things that I freeze. Just while I'm cooking things, I'll put them in the freezer. So I've added those. This is pretty full. I'll add it with water, so there'll probably be about 8 cups of water in there. I'll add a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar that draws out all the nutrients from the bones, and then I'll put that on in the slow cooker on low for about 24 hours. Thanks for coming in my kitchen. I need to clean up this whole kitchen, put everything away, and then have a wee rest because it's really tiring doing all this cooking, but I will really appreciate it this whole week. Thanks, and please like and subscribe if you want to see more.